Let's turn to Bill English now, who was listening to that. Bill English is 54, bang in the middle on the age front. He's been an MP for much longer than Collins or Coleman, having first entered Parliament in 1990, 26 years ago. What was the electorate of Wallace, Southland farming stock, boarding school in Wellington, Silverstream College, head boy. He studied business at Otago, got honours in English at Vic. He did some farming, worked for Treasury as a policy analyst, entered Parliament where he became Leader of the Opposition, fought the 2002 election spectacularly unsuccessfully, taking on Helen Clark after her first term as PM, but stayed on to become Cabinet Minister, Deputy PM under John Key, and of course Minister of Finance, having delivered 8 budgets in that role. Are you there, Minister?
I am, John.
Nice to talk to you. You were listening to Bill English was listening to Judith Collins, and she said she doesn't know what you think of her. What do you think of her?
Oh, well, look, she's a competent minister, has strong views, particularly on the issues she deals with in law and order, has been through a few rough patches in politics, and that always makes us a better politician.
Okay, yes, and that's certainly what you're saying about 2002. What do you offer that she doesn't? Given that, if we look at what's happening in global politics, there is a swing against the establishment, and you are as much now an establishment figure in New Zealand politics as anyone. 26 years in the place, 8, 9 budgets, Deputy PM. What do you offer that she doesn't?
Well, look, at the caucus will just make the decision about what I offer that Judith Collins doesn't. But my focus is on taking the opportunities that New Zealand has earned from a pretty successful 7 or 8 years.
Have we not taken them well enough so far? I mean, given that you have been Minister of Finance since 2008, how can we take them in new ways, and why haven't we done so already?
Oh, because we've got ourselves into a positive situation where we've just got a lot more choices, partly because of the government's books are now in surplus, that gives you more choices, and partly because we've just got this economy that keeps growing in a way that I think has exceeded general expectations. And there's significant areas where we can make progress because we've got a positive outlook. We need to we've got to reinforce the investment that goes with the growing economy and growing population, and that's quite a shift in thinking in New Zealand, which I think John Key has fostered with some real confidence. We need to focus more strongly on getting the benefits of growth spread more broadly around our community, because we've got the capacity to do that now, and we need to deal more effectively.
Can I come in there? Sorry to interrupt, but the benefits of growth spread more around the community. I was watching you as you were having your stand-up on the tiles in Parliament, roughly lunchtime, and you said something very similar, and I thought to myself, gosh, are you saying you don't really like the tax cuts? Were you, in fact, being a good team man, implementing the Prime Minister's tax cuts? Would you rather spend the money in other ways?
Well, the government will make whoever's the leader of it will make those decisions over the next week while. What's pretty important is we've got the capacity to do that because of the success of the last 6 or 7 years, and there is a genuine public discussion.
Can I push you on that? Can I push you on that personally, because you are running for head of the party and you are running for Prime Minister, and I understand. And when I talk to people in the National Party, they say Bill English's loyalty is beyond any reproach. You have understood that you are number 2 in the government and that the Prime Minister holds sway, but now that is no longer the case. Are you less keen on tax cuts than he was?
Well, I think that's a bit hypothetical. We've done some tax cut packages. We did a hardship package in the last year or so, which focused on the very lowest income families in persistent hardship, increased in benefit levels first time in 43 years. So, look, the Prime Minister and I think fairly similarly actually on a lot of this stuff, but the circumstances ahead of us provide us with better opportunities than we've had in the past, and there will be no doubt part of the political debate of election year is going to be the extent to which the benefits of growth are shared equitably and fairly.
Bill, that phrase "fairly similarly" is a beautiful phrase, because fairly similarly is not. I mean, what does that mean? You are running to replace John Key as Prime Minister and as Leader of the National Party. What are the differences? When you say fairly similarly, what is the dissimilar stuff? What would you do if you were leader that you have not previously been able to do under John Key?
Well, look, it's different people bring different things to it. So, for instance, I'm a bit more focused on policy because I've spent a lot of time on public policy in the machinery of government. So that means that if I'm a Prime Minister, I can focus on some of the intricacies of complicated issues. Like, here's an example: our housing market works in a way, because of our long-standing planning laws, in a way that means that costs for family, particularly low and middle income families, for housing are higher than they need to be. To achieve change in that is quite complex, but as a Prime Minister, I welcome the challenge because it has such a big impact on such a lot of people, and we could avoid the instability of further exaggerated housing cycles. Now, because I've spent 4 or 5 years on the innards of that machine, then as a Prime Minister, I can apply myself to it, and we can get some results. It's a bit different. That's just a bit different than how another leader would do it.
Yeah, absolutely, and certainly different from how Judith Collins would do it. And speaking to you, there is a profound difference. I mean, she is marketing herself as tough and singular. And, I had a list of people here: Warren Kidd, Barry Matthews, Leanne Dalzell, John Judge, Howard Broad. They've all ended up on the wrong side of Judith Collins, and that's been problematic for them. Are you tough enough in the kinds of ways that people like leaders of the National Party? And let's look back. Bolger was quite low-key, but pretty tough. He got rid of Richardson. Muldoon, we know, was tough. Key, affable Mr. Conviviality, but actually behind the scenes tough. Are you that kind of tough?
Well, I think I can make the decisions that need to be made for stable and effective government, and that has to be the driving force. It's not so much about proving a point of toughness, but what needs to happen so that you can keep delivering the progress that the New Zealand public expect.
Do you want it?
Yes.
Bill English, Finance Minister, thank you very much indeed for joining us.